Welcome in. That was horrible. Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live. Most days, I go live around 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday's typically a day when I mix it up. Guys, I will be traveling next week, so Monday I will not be live streaming, but I will make every effort to live stream most every other day, Tuesday through Friday. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me even on Instagram for some gym motivation. And you can find me on TradingView. It's one word right here, Crypto Bull God. It's one word. Very, very simple. Crypto Bull God. Super simplistic. Jorge is in the house. XRP is not crashing, Jorge. We spoke yesterday about the targets that we're going to get in. We're going to get into. So a correction on XRP was most probable, which is what I was indicating yesterday. Given that we doubled in price, you have an asset that doubles in price like that. The most likely direction. It doesn't have to. Things can be overbought for a while, but the most likely direction is just a healthy correction. And we spoke about the fact that we would anticipate a correction on XLM and XRP, but they would be healthy corrections. So we'll get into that. Definitely wanted to get into the charts today. What's up, WP? Glad to see you, sir. Hope you're having a nice afternoon, evening, morning, or night, wherever you're located. The sun is out right now. I'll tell you, the weather down here is like schizophrenic. I tried to get outside earlier today, and that shit was not happening because it's rainy and poopy outside. But right now it's sunny and nice out. Guys, I wanted to talk about the price action, what's going on here. If today's price action surprised you or you're concerned, you must be new to crypto. This is par for the course. I sort of chuckled, to be honest with you, once I saw the price data come in today, as bullish as things were looking. So let's take a look, have an honest conversation about what we're seeing in the prices right now, what I want to see happen, and I'll also speak to, depending upon how the week closes out, what we should look for. Now, this is the 12-hour chart. This is a chart that I really like to focus in on this channel quite a bit. And what we have drawn here, okay, up until this point right here, this was a very valid bull flag, okay? We got the pennant, and we have the pole, and we have the pennant. What people don't understand about technical analysis is, for those that are not TA people, is that you have probabilities for things playing out, right? Just because a bull pennant is present, it has a certain likelihood. Maybe it's 2/3 probability to the upside, 1/3 it breaks down, right? Right now, what's happening is we're starting to break down. So the question is, will this pattern be invalidated? And the answer is we have to wait for this 12-hour candlestick to print. We still have 3 hours and 50 minutes, so we still have a lot of time. There's a couple ways now that we have incoming price data that we could draw this. Perhaps we had some sort of that's not even a rising wedge. This, to me, when I was kind of eyeballing this before the live stream, I was wondering if now that we've had this price data come in, if we would have some sort of a rising wedge, but no, that's not valid. So if this thing closes back inside of here, let's see if we can redraw the pennant even. You could actually redraw the pennant, believe it or not. This is accurate. So you could still redraw the pennant in this fashion, just like that. Now, what would have to happen for this pennant to still remain valid? The candle body would have to close somewhere around the 50 simple moving average on the 12 hours. So this actually is still a valid pennant. You can see it's an ascending triangle / pennant. So if we can get the day to close out around 30,000, we're going to call it 30,400 and just keep it stupid simple. Welcome in, Track. Glad to see you, brother. If today we close around 30,400, despite the volatility, we're still seeing a bull pennant here, okay? We're still seeing a bull pennant. So what I'm personally going to be watching for is for this 12-hour candle, and in other words, for the day, to close out about 30,400. If we close out anywhere around 30,400, we still have a valid pennant formation. In fact, you could draw this a couple different ways. You could draw it like this. I mean, the point is you want multiple touches. You have a touch here, a touch here, a touch here. 30,400 would be great. We could even close around 30,250, okay? So anywhere in that 30,200, 250 range to 30,400, I still see a valid pennant, but I will tell you one area of concern for me that I do want to share with you. And this more gets into the weekly close. Now, you guys know, if you've been subscribed here for a while, there's a couple key points that I hit on in this channel, and I emphasize these points over and over again, okay? We can use the lower time frame data, and by lower time frame data, I mean something like a 12-hour chart or even a 4-hour chart, to take a gauge in terms of how bullish or bearish we are. And the more that bullish price action sustains itself, it bleeds over into the higher time frames, like a 3-day and a weekly, okay? So the lower time frames, once bullish momentum sustains itself, it bleeds over into the higher time frames. That's point number one. Point number two is, while we love to look at the 12-hour chart on this channel because of the historical significance, namely, I've spoken to the golden and death crosses. I've spoken to the importance of the 200. Yes, if we get a drop, I'm absolutely looking at this zone right here around, let's just call it $28,000. I'd be looking right in here, right in this zone here for a bounce, okay? And I've spoken to that plenty of times. But the other key point that I wanted to hit on is, it is more credible and there's more credence behind what you're looking at when you look at a higher time frame, so long as you have enough price data that it's credible, okay? And that's why I want to get into the weekly. It's very critical how this weekly candlestick prints for us, and let me explain to you why, okay? This candlestick, as we're printing it right now, this is a gravestone doji. This is a sign of a trend reversal to the downside. We do not want the weekly candlestick to print anything similar to this. I need the body of this to turn green. I don't give two shits how thin the body is to be green. I just don't want it to print red like this, because I will tell you, as a chartist, it doesn't matter how bullish I am on crypto. It doesn't matter what my educated view is in terms of the Elliott wave count and what I'm anticipating for this wave 5. If this thing prints in this manner, the most probable direction for price in the shorter to mid-term is down. We'd have some sort of a correction down before we'd start moving up, okay? So where do we need, because I'm not going to be with you more than likely on Sunday. I talked about live streaming on Sunday, but I'm also trying to publish a few videos for next week, so I only have so much time. So I want to give you a price level to watch for on Sunday at 8 p.m., okay? Now again, today, main price you want to look for, right in that 30,200 to 30,400 range. If we close there, bull pennant is still intact. But more importantly, on the weekly, on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, given that this candlestick opened at 30,170, we want to see, okay? We want to see the week close out anywhere at or above 30,170. Let's keep it simple. We got to close this week out 30,200 and above. 30,200 and above will avoid the gravestone doji. And I'm not trying to, I never inject fear porn on this channel. I'm just telling you the absolute 100% truth, like I always do. While there are no certainties in charting, if I cannot emphasize this enough, as bullish as I am on crypto, of what's going to happen this year, if this weekly candlestick prints a gravestone doji in this fashion, where we have a thin red body and a wick like this, the most probable direction is down over the next coming several weeks, okay? We do not want it to print like this. Let's get it 30,200 or above for the week. Now, you might be saying to yourself, prove it to me. Okay, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time when we've had these gravestone dojis. This here, I'll buy it. It's a little bit of a less significant one because the wick isn't as high. This is a gravestone doji that printed in February of 2022. And you can see we went a little bit, just a tad higher, but then ultimately plummeted in price. We had a gravestone doji. This is a gravestone doji here, okay? Back in October of 21, we went just a tad bit higher and then plummeted in price. And then, of course, the most infamous one that I could point to would be back in 2019 when everything was euphoric. In June of 2019, this is a gravestone doji right there if I've ever seen one. And we had a clear downtrend for many, many, many months, okay? Let me give you my educated guess on what's going to happen. I am not anticipating a gravestone doji to close out this week where we're at right now. I am anticipating the week to close out at 30,200 or above. But I'm telling you, if this thing closes in this fashion right here, trend reversal to the downside for several weeks, and that would imply that July and August would not pan out the way I was anticipating. So most likely. So we will have to keep an eye on how this week closes. You have to keep in mind that as a chartist and as anyone who reads data or is trying to make educated and informed decisions of the market, you go into things with an educated view. You always go into it with an educated view, but you go into things with a hypothesis, right? And what have I always said on this channel? I've said unless if something materially changes on the chart, you stick with it, right? This weekly candlestick to me would be a material development that would suggest otherwise for July being bullish. So again, I cannot highlight this enough. We need to avoid the candlestick printing like this. I'm not anticipating it, but as I always do on this channel, I keep things 100% with you guys, and I'm just making you aware of it. Right now, the way this thing looks, I do not like it, so we want to avoid that. Let's see what comments we have and who is in the house besides Jorge and WP. Kathleen, welcome in, the enforcer on the thumbs up. I'm in very good spirits. Hopefully Casper don't pump yet because I want to dump some gains from other coins into it. Nice. Yeah, I have a decent chunk of Casper. I think I'm done accumulating on it, but I have a decent chunk of Casper. There are many positions I hold that I contemplate increasing the size of those positions, but I think I'm good on Casper. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind 3 months from now and double my position. Who knows? Mr. BBC, that'd be I. You should comb your hair to the side. I saw a 2-year-old video of you. You don't horrible that horrible. Well, your last sentence doesn't make any sense. I think you have a typo. But I'm definitely not going to be combing my hair to the side anytime soon. Yes, in my older videos, my hair was a lot shorter. Fun fact on CBG's hairstyle. This is a true statement. I cut my own hair. This hairstyle, this is all me. And you might say to yourself, Christ, CBG, you're an actuary. Like, can't you afford to go get your hair cut? Of course I can afford to go get my hair cut. But like, to me, it's a time saver. And ultimately it's more a time saver than anything. I don't just run out and get my hair cut. It saves me time. But the other thing was I found that when I would get my hair cut, I was always dissatisfied in some way with my haircut. And I was like, fuck this, I can just cut my own hair. So I cut my own hair. This is me cutting my hair. So fun fact. What else we got here? Track is in the house. Brian, we could sweep 29.5. I mean, there's a lot of hypotheses regarding areas that we could sweep. You can see, Brian, to your point, when we're splitting hairs, I have an area, and look, we're starting to go below here. I have an area of price confluence at 29,600. You see this green line here? So for me, if we are going to see ultimately a pullback, and I'm incorrect, and we get the pullback that a lot of people have been calling for, that I said, it could happen, but I lean towards it not happening. This box is what I'm looking for. Now, we could see a wick below here, but anywhere between 28,200 to 29,600 is certainly a possibility. Guys, keep in mind, this space is very volatile. I don't know how many other times to express this. You can't expect your projects to pull a 10x, a 50x, a 100x, unless if you're not going to get this level of volatility. I mean, for the majority of the day today, all of this shit was green. Now it's all red. Well, again, welcome to crypto. Like this isn't a shocker that we're seeing this level of volatility. But again, you look at a day like yesterday, and when you have the number 3 crypto asset that can double in a day, the thing I wanted you guys to really think about, and it's so that you can have a sell strategy in place for your assets and sell at logical levels. If XRP can double in a day, if XLM can double in a day, If you're holding a coin in the 100 or 200 spot, those things can fly, those things can go 200% in a day. I mean, you really got to know what you're doing in this space and how to profit from it. Else they're all paper gains. You want realized gains. Brian, question for you, bro. What is a... I don't know where Jorge's going with this. Jorge, have you been dipping? Have you been dipping, Jorge? It's Friday. I don't know if you're like hitting things a little earlier today. It's only 4:00 right now, my friend. What's up, Frankie? Glad to see you here. Kathleen, thumbs up, guys. Yes, we do need some thumbs up and support for the channel. This channel is still extremely small, and I've been doing this for a while. For chart questions, status, your status is my request in any... Okay, I think, Kathleen, I didn't entirely get your question here, but it looks like you're asking for any updates on track. No material updates on track. Nothing really to update you on with track. But let's get into how much is it down today. Let's see what the price is at. 25 cents maybe? 26 cents? Yeah, it's at 26 cents. In fact, is this accurate? It's only down... Yeah, it's only down 1%, Kathleen. It's hanging in there right around a quarter, right in that 24 to 26 cent range. Once it starts getting over like 30 cents, things should start picking up. Synapse, and look at this level of volatility today. Synapse at one point was up like 15%. Now it's only up 5.5%. So, you know, you have a high degree of volatility coming in here. Now, dominance. Bitcoin dominance. Let's talk about what's going on here. We talked about the fact that we were in this topping zone within the RSI, and we could remain up here for a period of time. We talked about this topping zone. We also said that once we cleared this 49 zone, I felt increasingly confident that the next logical level for me was at any area between 53 to 58 before we ultimately topped out. Now, the price action that came in specifically with both XRP and XLM helped to drive dominance down. So the question I would ask you is this: how... Because I still believe that dominance is going to go up to 53 to 58%. If I still believe that dominance has one last leg up before a move down, my question to you is, how would that happen? There's two ways that could happen, and I will tell you, and there's actually a combination of different ways this could happen, but we'll take the two most likely ways. One, there's a correction in the market, okay? Bitcoin corrects less than the altcoins, that would actually drive dominance up, right? If Bitcoin, say, is down 1%, but your altcoins on average are, say, down 10%, that's going to drive dominance up by 9%, okay? Scenario two would be things are consolidating. Maybe you have some tokens moving up, but Bitcoin's making some big moves up. That's where I lean. I still think what we're going to see is we're going to see some sort of big move in Bitcoin ultimately that's going to take it in this orange box between 35.5 and 43, somewhere in here. As this big move is taking place, altcoins on average are not going to be making as strong an impulse. I think that's ultimately what's going to cause dominance to start to get up into this 53 to 58 area. I still think Bitcoin dominance is going to get up to this target zone. Now, again, once we clear 49 here, we're going to get up into this zone before we start to really dip down. And you know how I feel once we get down to this 39, 40% area, what's going to happen. It's like I said, that's not a marble floor that's down here. That's plywood. That's my view on dominance. Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum's consolidating right. We got to turn this green for support right above this 1800 level. Ethereum's trying to get above a psychological level of 2,000. You know, the other interesting thing that I drew out here that I see within the charts, kind of newer, that I've drawn out. It'd be interesting to see what this looks like on a 2-week. Yeah, you could even draw this a little differently on the 2-week. You could draw it like this. Bottom line, it's actually a little bit more clearer on a 2-week chart. Of course, then you'd have to adjust this bottom line so the candle bodies don't go below there. I see an ascending triangle. Okay, now someone could see, because you have a flat base up here and you have higher lows coming in here, right? Price is coiling in here. Well, someone could say, CBG, yeah, that's not a descending triangle. That's actually a bear flag because we have a pole here and now we have a pennant. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you, but if you're going to tell me this is a bear pennant, what we also need to do is exercise logic. We need to take the measured move and ask the question, If you think this is a bear pennant instead, do you really think the measured move, this is the measured move, once we break down out of it, let's say it happens in late August, do you really see Ethereum going down to $290? Fuck no, I don't see that happening, okay? So you could say to me, and it's valid, and I would agree with you, is this a bear pennant? Yes. But this falls into the category that people were saying about Bitcoin way back here to me. In fact, it's not as outrageous. People were calling this, okay? People were calling this, were they calling this a bear pennant or something even more than that? I think it was this. People were, I believe, were calling this a bear pennant, okay? And I said, yeah, sure, if you want to start drawing a bear pennant, and I'm pretty sure I must have this drawn incorrectly, but basically the technical target for the bear pennant took it into negative category. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. And so while there is a technical target here that is achievable and it's not negative, it's down at 290, it just seems so outlandish that Ethereum is going to correct to $290. That would be devastating for the market. You'd talk about a 90% correction, your altcoins would be correcting by 99% from current levels, okay? So I don't see that happening. Yes, there's a probability for everything, but no, I don't see a bear pennant on Ethereum. What I see is more so an ascending triangle. Typically, you see these ascending triangles at the top of a move. You have a move up, but that's not always the case. This actually, in this case for Bitcoin back in 2019, this ended up playing out as an ascending triangle, okay? So this move here that we ended up getting, okay, this was an ascending triangle. And you can see we far exceeded the target. The target, when you measure a pattern like this, so for the ascending triangle here, if I were to measure the target, this is just the initial target. This isn't me saying this is where price is ultimately going to top out. But once we actually break out of here, the initial target for this takes us somewhere up towards all-time highs. Is that saying that Ethereum is going to double top or really triple top because this really was an expanded flat correction just like Bitcoin? No, I don't see this thing triple topping. This is saying that price would initially, this is the initial target, and I would see further upside in creating new all-time highs. Ethereum over 10,000 is what I see. Let's get to XRP. Guys, if you were tuning in yesterday during the euphoric state of the market, apologies for not having the chart up I had yesterday. The exchange I was using to do all my charting for XRP was Poloniex. It had some sort of liquidity issue where there was a giant wick that came into the chart. So when you auto scale it, it fucks up the chart. So I just went to a different exchange here. I went to Binance right before the live stream. I don't have too much drawn at all on this chart. This is on the daily. But what I wanted to speak to today was the zone that I had identified yesterday that XRP, I said, be patient. Remember what I said yesterday, be patient. Do not be buying XRP at the price levels we saw yesterday, 80 plus cents, okay? I identified an area between 66, which to me seemed aggressive at the time, but still wanted to identify logical areas, 66 to 54 cents. And quite frankly, now that I've had a little bit more time to kind of absorb price action, I would actually use the 200 moving average as my bottom area here. So I would really say 66 cents to the top of the 200 simple moving average. So it's really 51 cents. So I would identify ultimately as a potential area for pullback on XRP anywhere between 66 and 51 cents. For me, if I was looking to increase, again, never financial advice, guys. But if I was looking to increase my personal position for XRP, I'm not buying anything over 60 cents. I'm waiting for the 50 cent area. I would be waiting in particular because I know 58.5 cents was an area of resistance. And once you clear resistance, what happens in a bullish structure, once we clear the resistance, price likes to come down, back test it as support, and continue moving up. I would not be buying XRP until I saw prices come back towards 58.5 to 51 cents. Anywhere in that area, maybe 59, I would say. 59 cents to 51 cents. I'm not buying it in the 60 cent area. That's not what I would be doing personally. So those are the price levels I would look for, but ginormous move yesterday. How about XLM? I identified key areas. They're still here. The orange horizontal lines, we still haven't pulled back. We're getting a nice red candle, healthy for consolidation. For XLM, again, these are the areas for me. Anywhere really, I was trying to keep it stupid simple for you guys yesterday, and I said 10 to 11 cents. We're sitting at 13 cents right now. So I could still see a 20-30% pullback on XLM. Anywhere in this 10 to 11 cent area, I am a buyer, and I identified areas of price confluence over here. Okay, so it's to be technical, 11.4 cents to 10.8 cents. But really, I would say anything between 11.4 and 10 cents. Okay, that's what I would say for XLM. What else? What else? What other charting questions do you guys have? I know I had a question come in from Kathleen on track. Nothing substantially has changed. We spoke about Bitcoin in terms of price action, what I'm looking for in terms of the daily close today, and more importantly, the weekly close. If you missed the commentary at the beginning of the live stream on what to look for on the daily close today, as well as even more importantly, this candlestick, the significance of it, and what we need to see happen by Sunday at 8 p.m., you better go back and watch the beginning of the live stream because you missed the most important segment of the live stream. So make sure you go back and watch it. What else we got here? Appreciate the support. Everyone giving the thumbs up means a lot to me. It definitely takes a good amount of effort, especially depending how the day is going, to come out here consistently because I still have a full-time job that keeps me busy throughout the day. So what else we got? My daily candle starts on Hong Kong time, so it is completely different candles on my chart. Unfiltered Minds from Hong Kong. Welcome in, my friend. I never really put much thought into that before about being in a different time zone and the candles being set up differently, but absolutely. If you're on a completely different exchange and timeline, or not so much the exchange, but a different timeline, your candlesticks are going to look different. So good point. Glad to have you in, by the way. Glad to have you in. I've said this before for everyone new tuning in who hasn't been here. Something I really appreciate about both Twitter and YouTube is the social media that I use, is that it really has a way to connect you with people globally, all over the world. I have people tuning in from all over the world. So many different countries people have shared with me, and I think it's awesome. Status was SNT. That is what I meant. CBG. Some people were giving me acronyms yesterday, and I don't know what the hell these acronyms mean. Is it because I'm old? SNT. What the hell is SNT? I don't know what SNT is. Status was SNT. Kathleen, I'm sorry. I don't know what SNT is. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not familiar. Track. Are there always pullbacks like this once the prices go up, or did something happen? Well, Track, a couple comments there. As I've shared with you before, news follows the charts. Charts don't follow the news, right? So everything, I don't believe the news events cause the price action, in other words, okay? I want to answer that part, and I've said that so many times on this channel. That is my belief, okay? But to also answer your question, no, I didn't see any news come out. This live stream is all in the charts, so I believe it's all in the charts. But I didn't see any news come out. You're saying, do prices always pull back like this? No, they don't always pull back like this. But it's not uncommon to see some sort of a fake out in the market that things are starting to get, it's called status. Oh, S&T is a coin. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Sorry, Kathleen. It's not uncommon that once the market is feeling a little bit exuberant, especially about some news coming out about the lawsuit, that you get some sort of head fake like this, right? But what I would say to you, while I can't tell you with certainty what I see happening, I never can. I never do that on this channel. For me, this doesn't deter me one bit or make me feel nervous. Again, this one view here, this is the only thing that makes me feel very cautious at the moment, but we still have 2 days to get this thing at 30,200 and above. So, hopefully we can move price up $125 in the next 2 days. I remain cautiously optimistic that it will. I also remain cautiously optimistic about my educated view. I was on the phone with the guy who's going to be coming on the live stream in a week and a half here, and I told him, hey, no matter how bullish I am and no matter how confident I feel about my educated view that I've shared with you on what I see happening late this year, early next year, I still remain cautiously optimistic. You have to be prepared for all scenarios. What if some wild card comes in and something completely unexpected happens? I'm trying to use the most important and pertinent data charts that I can use to make the best informed decision and share the same charts I'm looking at to make informed decisions with you guys. I clearly show these charts and point out to you what I see in the charts. I try to connect dots and make an informed decision. That's the best thing that I can do for myself to set myself up in the best way possible. And so I hope it benefits you as well. And, at that point, let the chips fall where they may, But track, to even go a little bit of a step further, price doesn't always respond this way. Sometimes you get a big move up in XRP. Let's take XRP, for instance. Sometimes you get a big move up like this, and you're expecting a pullback, and you really don't get much of a pullback, and you get a long wick here, and we close way up here at 81 cents. We get continued movement, closer up to that $1.34 range that I had talked about, and then we start to see a correction. So, yeah, it's just a very, very volatile market, track. Very, very volatile market. Most important thing you can do is have a higher time frame perspective, okay, and understand what your investment philosophy is. Okay, so we're going to take a look at SNT. Kathleen had a question on SNT. We'll take a look at that. We were taking a look at Poppy yesterday. Poppy sounds like Poppy. Poppy, it sounds like the Seinfeld episode. Poppy. You guys, do I have any Seinfeld fans here? Do you remember the Seinfeld episode with Poppy where he didn't wash his hands? Jerry was going out to eat with his girlfriend. The girlfriend's father, I'm going to draw areas of support first. Green is for support, red is for resistance. Jerry was going out to eat with his girlfriend, and her father was the owner of a restaurant that they went to. And Jerry went to the bathroom at the same time as Poppy. And Poppy came out of a stall, okay? So we know he was deucing it up in there. He was dropping a deuce. He came out, looked in the mirror, went like this. I think maybe he didn't even put his hands under the water. He just fixed his hair. He said, "I'm going to make something special for you." And then he left and he didn't wash his hands. Oh, it was such a good episode. I might have to go back and watch that on YouTube because I just thought of that. Poppy. There's also some inside jokes with the use of the word poppy, but I'm going to keep that one close to the hip because that may be a little inappropriate for this channel. All right, let's get back to the charts. We're not talking about things outside of the charts. All right, so this is a 3-day view on SNT status. I'm unfamiliar with the project. I don't know what this is. What I've drawn here are major areas of support. Now, one of the things I do like to see here, let's see. I don't want to clutter the chart too much, okay? I don't like to clutter the charts too much. I'm going to draw a couple areas of downward resistance, though, because there's a couple that seem rather intuitive to me. Now, you can see we have a touch here, a touchy here, and a third touch here. I like that. And I also like drawing something like this. Now, why would I want to draw this second level of resistance? The reason I'd want to draw this second level of resistance, and I have this one touching on the candle bodies, this is giving me some indication that we may be seeing some follow through to the upside. We're starting to break this initial downward area of resistance, but the major downward area of resistance is the black. This is sort of the way I would phrase this is giving me a leading indicator that we could see some strength within the price, that we could eventually start to formulate price action in this area to start to take out this area. Not guaranteed, but it's just some sort of potential leading indicator. Okay, so we got these two downward areas of resistance drawn. I'm going to take out the gray just so it's not distracting. We got the major one up there. Now, how about areas of resistance on here? We have, I want to do where there's multiple touches. So I'm going to do it right about there. I'm going to do it right about there. And I'm going to do it right about God, I was just thinking to myself, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk a couple years ago I'd be live streaming every day talking about charts? I don't think if you asked Mini CBG when he was, well, I was about to say my age. I don't think if you would have asked me several years ago if I'd be live streaming every day covering charts that I'd be doing this. But it's funny how our passions change over time in life, right? I was just having that conversation with somebody the other day. It's funny how things change over time in life. I don't want to overcomplicate the chart, so I'm just going to leave it at that, Kathleen. Let me look at the price indicators as well. So this is a 3-day chart. Stochastic RSI is topped out. Now, the important thing to keep in mind with the stochastic RSI is that this stochastic RSI can remain topped out for a period of time. RSI looks good. We're at 59. MACD is trying to get above our zero trigger line. We have this positive cross. Typically, when you see this strong of a move up like this, and you see how dark green we are, see how this strong, I mean, this is really vertical here, and we have a strong green. Typically, these things start to cool off because this is too strong of a move here almost. So it tends to want to flatten at some point before hopefully then it begins to curl back up. So that would be my expectation on the MACD. It's not going to continue going on this trajectory. But I will tell you, Kathleen, the technicals to me are looking good. Technicals alone are telling me we might be due for a little bit of a pullback here. 3-day is set to open on Saturday. Now, if we do get a pullback, Kathleen, I've clearly identified, and I'll draw one more here, I've clearly identified areas of support here. If I wanted to increase my position size in this or establish a position, I would be buying anywhere mainly in this zone. This would be my primary zone between 2.153 cents and 2.4 cents. We like to keep things stupid simple on this channel, so I would say anything between 2 and 2.4 cents. That would be my buy zone. Now, you can see we're going to have a major zone of resistance right in here because we have descending resistance and we have two areas of price confluence. So once we start to push up into here, it's going to be a little challenging to get above there. And that's really between 2.8 cents and 3.3 cents. I'd like you to, and we have 3.8 cents up here, I'd like you to come back with questions on this chart once we convincingly on a daily close get above 3.3 cents. Again, guys, one of the ways you can play this is if you miss the breakout. I always say this on this channel. You see this? What the hell happened to this area of resistance here? It got fucked up. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Remember, I've said this on this channel plenty of times. Okay, we got this downward resistance here. Once we break, if you miss this breakout, very common to come down, back test this area of prior resistance as support, and continue moving up. You know, we've looked at that so many times on this channel. So don't. The worst thing you can do is chase a giant green candle. If you would have, again, you can be as bullish as you want on XRP. If you're chasing this thing at 80 plus cents, you're now down at least 10%, okay? You have to be patient. Don't feed into the emotion. I've said time and time again, emotion is a money killer. Been there, done that, have learned from it, and am doing my best to be robotic with my buy and sell strategy. Robotic. No emotion. Absolutely no emotion. What's up, Excedre? I feel like I've seen you here before, but have I seen you here before? Sometimes I lose track of people. I feel like I've seen you here before, perhaps, but it's been a while. Yeah, I've never heard of Keck before. That was the first one. Somebody brought up Keck is a term for LOL. I've never heard of that before. LOL in Warcraft. When you do / LOL, BCK, it translates to alliance as Keck. That's funny. My brother used to play World of Warcraft. For all the World of Warcraft fans out there, that clip that's out there, Leroy Jenkins. If you don't know the Leroy Jenkins, Leroy, the dude that yelled out Leroy in World of Warcraft, look that up on YouTube. It's pretty fucking funny. The nerd in me finds that hilarious. I never played World of Warcraft, never got into it. I used to be a very big video game guy. Really up until my second year of college. And then right after my second year of college, I really just got off the bandwagon, and then I graduated from college, and I was taking exams for my profession, and I was more interested in going out to bars and meeting girls and all that stuff. So I got off the video game bandwagon. I haven't really played video games in a while. I have the original Nintendo system, Super Nintendo system. I have an N64. I was a big Nintendo guy. I have a PlayStation, the original. I have a Nintendo Wii. I even have one of those universal consoles that has like thousands of games on them. It is once in a blue moon. It might happen twice a year where I turn one of those systems on and play it, but I just don't have time for video games. I don't make time for it. I have other things to occupy my life. So now if I ever do have children, which that time in my life is really starting to pass me by, if it's going to happen, it better happen soon. If I ever do have a son or daughter, you best believe we're going to be firing up the original Nintendo system and playing Super Mario Brothers and The Legend of Zelda. You better fucking believe it. I will be gaming then. I would love that. If I had a kid, you better believe I would have them go outside and play a lot, get them out of the house, but I would enjoy playing some video games with them. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. You're welcome, Excedre. Thank you very much, CBG. I will save Telcoin for tomorrow, giving time and other people chances for the requests as always. Yeah, and I think I'm going to be signing out soon too, because it's Friday and we've been on for 41 minutes. So, love your passion and honesty. Thank you. I'm glad that comes through. I'm an authentic person and I'm genuinely passionate about the space, and I love helping you guys out. So I'm glad that comes through. Yeah, my brother played WoW. Speaking of my brother, real quick, guys. Speaking of my brother, since I was 14, now 35. I won't tell you how old I am, BCK. I might have you beat, though, at 35. So, I'm glad to see you in here, BCK. Speaking of my brother real quick, I don't know those who are familiar, but my brother and I used to do a podcast way back in the day. It was called Crypto Bros. And the plan is to bring that back to my channel on a Wednesday. We haven't talked about frequency. I'm envisioning something that is once a month or once every 2 weeks. But I have spoken to my brother about live streaming from his house when I am home this coming week in Pennsylvania on Wednesday. So the idea would be I'll probably come out and do a TA live stream. I'll come out, I'll cover the charts. But then later in the evening, we're going to have the reboot of Crypto Bros podcast. So tune in. Now, the format for those who are unfamiliar, it's not TA. I might cover a chart. But it's more talking about what's going on in the market, such as the stuff with the SEC, Elizabeth Warren bullshit, any exciting crypto projects, anything that's educational in nature to help people out. So it's really just a podcast that's more fundamental in nature and off the cusp and lighthearted humor and things like that. So if you're interested, make sure to tune in. I'm excited to start that back up again. Also excited, I keep saying this, also excited to start collaborating with other people in the space. I'm going to have my first guest on the channel not next week, 2 weeks from now. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Really good TA guy. As we get closer to the date when he's going to be on the channel, I'll get some information out there so you guys can give him a follow on Twitter. And you can make sure to tune in for that live stream. I'm really hoping to get a much larger audience. I'd like to get at least twice the amount of viewers that I typically get on a live stream when he comes on. I think he does a great job. So, but yeah, I think that's all for today. Again, if you missed the beginning of the live stream, I think it is critical that you go back. Just watch the beginning of the live stream. I spoke about what the most important point was to close on the daily, and the most important point, which we're at right now actually, to close on the weekly to avoid a concerning, something that would be concerning on the weekly for me. We do not want the weekly candlestick to print a gravestone doji. So look for the daily close today. I spoke to those levels. Look for the weekly close. Sunday at 8 p.m. Go back, rewind if you missed it. Everyone who tuned in and took some time out of your Friday of all days, go out, have a happy hour, get outside, enjoy the weather, enjoy the weekend. Appreciate your time, and I will be back on, should be back on Tuesday, not Monday. I'll be traveling on Monday. So take care, everybody. Share this video with at least one person, and until next time, spread awareness, and let's all carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Good to see everyone.